The annual construction of Black Rock City in the Nevada desert is complete. To the participants of Burning Man, it's much more than a festival. And looking at the intricate and amazing artwork that's going to be displayed there this year, I tend to agree with them. It's much more. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for hanging out. Burning Man's theme this year is Tomorrow, Today, a peculiar reference to the dissolution of normal time. It's a strange mashup of two potential futures that they say are coming to a head in the popular imagination. As described on their own website, we are headed for either a tech-fueled rise for humanity into a new utopia or a dystopian wasteland, thrust into total collapse by its own unsustainable weight. But while I was considering these ideas, I had a small amount of synchronicity recently. I was listening to a lecture by the infamous author and psychonaut Terence McKenna. He spoke often of the misunderstanding of time that we have, but he went a step further, and I was blown away at the implications that he made. Quote, "History is the shockwave of eschatology," unquote. Before I go on, for those who are unfamiliar with what eschatology is, it's the part of theology concerned with death, judgment, and the final destiny of the soul and of humankind, where we're going as a species. And for example, this aligns with the motifs found in the book of Revelation in the Bible. But Terence paints an incredibly dense symbol here. History is the shockwave of eschatology. And what that means is history is not pushed from behind, from the past, from the Big Bang or World War II or the Nixon administration or any of that. History is pulled by the future. The human adventure in time is under the control of an attractor that lies ahead of us in the story, not behind us in the story. And the curious plottedness that haunts our lives, that we call synchronicity or magic or good luck, is in fact the high walls of the attractor, the high walls of the groove in which the story must run. I can't help but love this guy's use of poetic language and his ideas, the way they're described here, as this kind of inevitability of time, how there's a sort of destiny. But he also goes on to mention this sort of fixed point, this transcendent being that he said is, of course, comparable to God or some type of archetype, something outside of time that's pulling it into this plan, this groove. And I think he meant like the grooves on a record. He also talked a lot about time acceleration, which I made a video back here. If you haven't seen that yet, I'll link it here or I'll put it in the comments. But he also had the theory that the events of time and the complexity of life are speeding up and moving toward this point, this either cataclysm or transcendence for all. But you also have to remember that he reached these conclusions through the use of psychedelics. These things were sort of revelatory information, things that he thought about for years. But it's funny to me that the more that these used motifs kind of work their way into these conversations, and the more that these, pagans, psychonauts, people who use psychedelics try to get away from a religion, established religion, the more the symbols kind of align with it and come right back full circle. It's as if there's no escape. His mentioning of this immovable object that's sort of guiding time, what is that? I mean, it's something that you could be comparing to a god or as some type of deity. But interestingly enough, he said that not only psychedelics and certain types of meditation can bring these revelations, but in the same lecture he mentioned art appreciation, being able to look at something and sort of shift your perspective based on that art And I think this is a lot of what's happening at Burning Man. In fact, I think this is exactly what some of these artists are trying to do. A lot of it is that human urge to go to the edge of understanding. You know, psychedelics are the quintessential edges of human understanding. It's full of experiences and things that you cannot filter back through your normal senses and things that can't be explained. And in my opinion, they're very dangerous because of that. I don't think we have any idea what we're doing. And I think we're treading into spiritual territory with the use of these chemicals. But after generations of using these things and generations of shamanism, after all of this quote-unquote progression that these people claim that it yielded, what have we come back to? We have come back full circle to the old gods. Now all of a sudden they're stylish. It's cool to be in love with the mother goddess or the feminine spirit. Just take a look at their website. The first art installation that comes up, Blessed Be the Boobies Swing. And I'm just going to read the description. Nestled in dust-blown expanse of BRC, amid the chaos and creativity, there exists a sanctuary like no other, a swing transformed into vivid homage to the feminine spirit. Much of this artwork is interactive too. They invite people to come and get inside of them. They have different functions and stuff. But I mean, look at this next one. It's the lotus flower portal. And it says that the lotus flower's roots connect us to the crystalline timelines, the crystals within the earth, within our bodies. It is with deep seeking that we root into our darkness, the dark soils of Mother Earth. And I had to mention these last two. We have one about afterlife reincarnation. It's called Afterlife Reincarnate, and it's a visually stunning fluorescent LED and backlit installation. It's a large-scale, immersive, and multisensory art piece, teleporting visitors to the ancient temples of Angkor and Borobudur, and the pagodas of Japan and China. So, got more references to Eastern religions, and also this one was interesting. It has like a Stonehenge kind of feel to it, but it's called Ad Astra, and says that this large-scale installation features 6 monumental sculptures arranged in circular formation, evoking a modern Stonehenge or sacred gathering space. Each piece is crafted from artificial stone and polished stainless steel, blending ancient textured surfaces with sleek, reflective finishes. So you got the mashup of future and past. See what I mean? It's just very obvious. We're going backwards. There's nothing new under the sun. The same patterns keep repeating. We're the future monuments are the past monuments. It's just a cycle, a cyclical thing. And I think the mistake that a lot of people make with, and this is very hard to grasp for any of us, really. I mean, who am I? I'm just a guy on the internet. But I think the grasp that we have on the entire timeline of existence, we have very, very little knowledge of and very, very little perspective. And we make this mistake of thinking that when we look into the future, we can't see the gigantic loops back into the past that have occurred. So when we think that we're progressing and it's this linear thing, and I think that what we're sort of discovering, and a lot of people will admit is the true nature, is that we repeat the past. And it's, I don't want to say doomed to repeat, but things happen cyclically. And it's just hilarious to me to see these quote unquote futuristic, they had to get the future and past elements together. That's just the theme. I understand that, but to have this look like a pagan monument, it's very interesting. And I've made a few videos in the past about the themes and the art of Burning Man and mentioned paganism and the whole motif of sacrifice and the Green Man and Wicker Man type rituals. And Gotten plenty of attacks from people. It's not pagan. It can't be pagan. You are out of your mind. It's like, dude, look at it. I mean, whether you have a grasp on the totality of the message here, or the symbolism, it's pretty damn apparent that this is pagan. We are circling back to the pagan gods. It's can't get any more obvious than that. I don't understand how there's even an argument about it, but I'm more than willing to discuss it. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you agree with me, do you disagree with me? Is there just, when they say this is dedicated to the feminine spirit, that the Gaia spirit, that they're it's not a worship of Gaia. Well, there's a reverence there. It's the same thing. But if you want to hear more about the sacrifice motif, it's in one of my older Burning Man videos. I'll link those here at the end. And I think the other one goes into the occult, some of the other occult symbols that were in past festivals and what the festival means, the deeper meaning. I may make another one once the festival gets on for a little while, but thanks for hanging out, and I will talk to you all later.